Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. And in our previous class, we discussed about chemical reactions and equations. That was lecture 1. And in our today's class, we will discuss about how to balance chemical equations. In our previous class, we discussed about 5 activities and we wrote reactions, what happens, the reactants and products, all that we discussed. And today we will see what conventions are used while writing the chemical reactions and also how to balance them. Okay, let's begin. Writing a chemical equation. There are some conventions you have to follow while writing a chemical equations. Okay, so there are some rules we have to follow. For example, the first point here is in a chemical equation, the reactants are written on the left hand side while the products will be written on right hand side. So always remember we write reactants on the left. This is our left side and the products will be on right side. Now product means that it doesn't mean that we are talking here about the multiplication. Please don't bring mathematics here. Product means it's the output. Reactant is the substance what you use to do reaction in previously, and whatever you get output or the result we call it as products. Okay, that's the first point you should remember the convention about while writing the chemical equation. Next point is if the reactants or products are two or more, they are linked with a plus sign in between them. Suppose there are two reactants. It's not only one reactant, there are two reactants. Let me write here example. Suppose we are taking zinc dust and we are adding zinc dust in copper sulfate solution. Okay, so zinc dust and copper sulfate solution, these are two reactants we have. So to show the link between them, we have to use plus sign. And this reaction gives what? It gives zinc sulfate and it also gives copper. So here also the product is 2. So when the product is 2, we will show the link between them as showing the plus sign in between them. We will never show negative sign here. It will be always a plus sign. Okay, plus sign means what? We are adding or we are getting something extra. So zinc dust, when it is mixed with the copper sulfate solution, we get zinc sulfate and we also get copper. Third point, to make the chemical equation more informative, when we are writing chemical equation, there are some symbols we have to follow. The physical states of the reactants are indicated in the equation. What is physical state? Physical state means you have to write whether the substance is gaseous state or is it a liquid or solution or aqueous or is it in the solid form. That we have to write in the form of G, L and S. Sometimes it's not required to write G. Like for example, if the product is gaseous, instead of writing G in the bracket, you can indicate it by writing the arrow in a pointing in a upward side. So you just mention like this. This copper is a solid material product we have got. But suppose if there was a carbon dioxide here, and this is in gas form. So instead of writing G here, what we will do? We will not write G. We will just put a arrow like this. So it is clear that this carbon dioxide is in the gaseous form. If the product formed is insoluble solid in the form of a precipitate, like I have shown here in the diagram, precipitate means it will be insoluble in the water and you will see some milky substance inside it. Okay, so when it is precipitation like this, then instead of writing solid, we can indicate it by writing arrow pointing downward side. So if we see the reaction is giving you product in the form of a precipitate form, then we can write the arrow in a downward side, pointing downward side. It means that it is a precipitate. Okay, it is clear from the reaction when you see these symbols. Next, when reactants and products are in the form of a solution in water, if they are in the form of solution in water, they are said to be present in aqueous solution state. Okay, instead of writing liquid L, we will write it as AQ. AQ means aqueous solution. This state is indicated by putting the letter AQ in brackets after their formula. Thus, the equation is written as like this. So here is an example shown here. Copper sulfate is in aqueous solution. That's why in the bracket it is written as AQ. Zinc is in solid form. Okay, it can be powder. Gives zinc sulfate, which is also in aqueous solution, and it also gives copper, which is in solid form. Next point, when heat is to be given from outside to bring about a reaction. What does this mean? When heat is given from outside, it means you are using a burner. You are using a burner. Okay, you are using a burner, a flame from outside. You are giving a heat from outside. Okay, that is when heat is to be given from outside to bring about a reaction. It is indicated by a sign like this triangle. Okay, we call it as delta. You can, this is a heat in terms of chemistry. Now what we are talking, this symbol means heat. Let me write here. This symbol means heat. So if you see this triangle symbol in the reaction, then you can think that while doing this reaction, they have used the heat from outside. Above the arrow that indicates the direction of the reaction. This arrow is a direction of reaction. For example, the reaction in which slaked lime is formed on heating limestone is written as follows. Okay, so CaCO3 is in aqueous solution and zinc is taken in the dish. Okay, in the dish zinc is also taken, and you are turning on the burner. You are giving the heat from outside. That is why the symbol here is triangle. And you get calcium oxide in the solid form, and also you get gaseous state. So we are not writing G here. Instead of that, we have shown here with the arrow pointing upward side. So this is a carbon dioxide gas. Similarly, the fact that heat is released during the reaction between the aqueous solution of copper sulfate and zinc dust is indicated as follows. We can also write the reaction. Suppose while doing this reaction, when you are getting the product, it is also generating some heat out. So we can write here plus heat. So it says that in this reaction, when you are doing this reaction, you get product zinc sulfate, you get product copper, and also it is generating some sort of heat while doing the reaction. That's why in the reaction it is written plus heat. Fifth point, it is necessary to fulfill certain conditions like specific temperature, pressure, because we have to write that also. At certain temperature only the reactions can be taken place at room temperature or 30 degree or 60 degree or 100 degree or 150 degree. There are laboratories where we can make the environment as a temperature, we can adjust the temperature there for that particular reaction. We also have to adjust the pressure, how much pressure is required to do the reaction. Catalyst, something is to be added in it so that it can give a reaction. Like when you are cooking food, to get a flavor, you will add something like that. Catalyst is also added in the reaction to bring some reactions, what we need. Okay. These conditions are indicated below or above the arrow indicating the direction of the reaction. So here it is shown here. You can see the example, vegetable oil is taken which is in liquid form. Instead of writing aqueous, we will write liquid because it is uh, convenient to mention it is a liquid form, vegetable oil. Plus H2 is in gaseous state, so it is written G. This is a reaction which gives Vanaspati ghee. When you are doing this, it will give you Vanaspati ghee which is in solid form. But at what temperature this reaction took place? It took place at the temperature 60 degree Celsius. So it is written above the arrow. And the catalyst what is used here in this reaction is nickel. Ni is nickel. Nickel is used as a catalyst to do this reaction. And that is why we got Vanaspati ghee in a solid form. 6 point, special information or names of reactants or products are written below their formula. For example, Copper on reaction with concentrated nitric acid gives reddish color poisonous nitrogen dioxide gas. Okay, so here this HNO3 we get it in the form of dilute also, and we get it in the form of concentrated also. Dilute HNO3, okay, dilute HNO3, that is nitric acid. This is a nitric acid. It is an acid. Dilute in the sense you will get it when you are going for a 11th standard class, when you will be in the laboratory. It will be given to you in the shelf in a small glass bottle, nitric acid. Okay, but it will be in the dilute form. Dilute form means they will add something and it will not be very concentrated. The concentrated nitric acid is kept separately, okay, separately, safely it is kept, and you have to use a dropper, and also you have to take precautions if you are using that nitric acid in your experiment or the reactions what you want to perform. Okay, so it is very dangerous. The concentrated HNO3 is very dangerous. It is kept at the side at a safe place in the laboratory. They will never keep anywhere in the bottle. They will keep it safely with proper temperature around it, like proper temperature environment is given to it. Okay, so that it does not harm us. So it is very dangerous. That's why some acids you need to mention in the reaction whether you are taking it is in the dilute form or concentrated form. Dilute form is not that dangerous. Okay, you can always wash your hand while if you get to touch it, but concentrated is very dangerous. It's an acid, concentrated acid, so you have to be very careful. It's very dangerous. It will burn your skin. Okay, so it is important to mention in the reaction whether it is dilute or concentrated. If you don't know which one it is, and if you have the reaction and if you want to perform this reaction in the laboratory, if you use a dilute, then you may not get the product what you want to get. So it's important to mention whether the solution is a dilute or concentrated. There are only few acids which are dilute and concentrated. In both form you will get it. That's why in those acid, this is one of them, that is nitric acid, HNO3. So here is the example shown that HNO3 is in the concentrated form. However, on reaction with dilute nitric acid, here is a dilute nitric acid is added with the copper. You see here above reaction, copper is added with concentrated HNO3. You will get here copper CuNO3 2 in aqueous solution. Then you will get nitrogen dioxide, and also you will get H2O in a liquid form. That's why L is written. But if you add copper to dilute HNO3, you will get a different product here. Even though the product is like nitrogen, this is nitrogen dioxide, and for dilute you are getting nitrogen oxide. H2O is a by product is there, but here you are getting nitrogen oxide instead of getting nitrogen dioxide. And here CuNO3 too, also it is an aqueous solution, and also there is a difference in the molecules. When we balance the equation, we will come to balancing equation. We will do it later. Right now we are discussing only the conventions. What symbols are used, how to write the reactions, what those symbols indicate. Those things we are trying to learn now. Let us perform this activity too. We are not in the laboratory, but we will just go through this activity. The apparatus, what are the things we need for this experiment is a test tube, conical flask, balance, etc. To balance, okay, this is a balance. You can see in the diagram, this is the balance to check the weight. Chemicals, what we are going to use here is sodium chloride and silver nitrate. Take sodium chloride solution in a conical flask and silver nitrate solution in a test tube. So it is shown here in the diagram, silver nitrate in the test tube, sodium chloride solution in the conical flask. Tie a thread to the test tube and insert it carefully into the conical flask. Make the conical flask airtight by fitting a rubber cork. So this rubber cork will not allow whatever gas is formed in between. Suppose when we add two reactions, there is a gas formed there. So whenever whatever gas is formed there, it doesn't go out. If you use a rubber cork, it doesn't go out. Weigh the conical flask with the help of a balance. Now you see there in the diagram, you can see 300.23 gram. It weighs 300.23 gram. Now tilt the conical flask and mix the solution present in the test tube with the solution in the conical flask as shown in the diagram. And when you keep it again to weigh the conical flask, you will see the color is changed. The color is not same, the color is changed. Okay, we will also discuss about the observation, but right now in the diagram here you can see the color is changed. The weight, see the weight is still the same, 300.23 gram. Why we are adding this rubber box? So that when we are doing like this, when we are mixing this solution in this form, nothing should go out, neither the gaseous form or the liquid form, nothing should go out of the conical flask. And that is why this experiment is carried in this way, and you will see the weight on both sides is same. Okay, here are some questions we have to think about while doing this experiment. Which changes did you find after doing this experiment? Did any insoluble substance form, or was there any change in the weight? As you see in the diagram, there is no change in the weight. Okay, so according to that reaction, observations, the first observation we can see that sodium chloride, NaCl, reacts with silver nitrate, obviously, when you mix it, to form insoluble substance. So it is going to give you an insoluble substance. That is, it will give you white precipitate of silver chloride, AgCl, in sodium nitrate solution. Earlier I told you convention, if it is precipitate form, then in the reaction we have to show the arrow pointing downward side. Okay, so here is the reaction. You can see here AgCl precipitate form is formed. It is insoluble in water. Okay, it is a precipitation. That's why there is an arrow which is pointing downward side. Second observation, there is no change in the weight. We saw it in the diagram. A word equation is written for the above activity as shown below. Word equation means we are not using the symbol, but we will just write the name of the substances, the reactants and the products. So silver nitrate, there is no symbol used here. We are just writing it in words. Plus sodium chloride is added. Then you get product silver chloride and sodium nitrate. The above word equation is represented in the chemical equation form. Then we write silver nitrate as AgNO3, which is in aqueous solution, aqueous form. NaCl also it was in aqueous form. That's why AQ is written in the bracket. This reactant gives the product AgCl in a precipitate form. This is a precipitate form. Okay, it means it is insoluble. That's why the arrow is pointing downward, and you get NaNO3, which is also in aqueous solution. Do you know silver nitrate is used in the water's ink? Silver nitrate is used there, okay, in the water's ink. This is just a extra information for you. Find out what are T is missing here. What are the other uses of silver nitrate in everyday life? In our everyday life, what are others uses of silver nitrate? Just now I told you it is used in the water ink, and we have to think where do we use this silver nitrate in our everyday life. Okay, so answer is silver nitrate is used in developing photographic films. It is also used to treat wounds and burns on the skin due to its antiseptic property. It has an antiseptic property, so we can use it on wounds and burns on the skin also. Balancing a chemical equation. Let's talk about balancing chemical equation now. Till here we have understood the convention which is used while writing the chemical reactions. Okay, and now we will talk about balancing a chemical equation. The number of atoms of the elements in the reactants in this equation is same as the number of atoms of those elements in the product. So whatever the number of elements are present in the reactant, the same should be present in the product. Such an equation is called as balanced equation. Such equations are known as balanced equation. If the number of atoms of each element is not the same, if suppose the number of atoms are not the same on the two sides of an equation, then we call it as an unbalanced equation. So in this situation, what you should do, if it is unbalanced equation, we have to balance it by writing some extra numbers in front of that, so that we come to know, okay, these are the number of atoms should be there present in the element, and it can balance the equation. Here is one example equation. AgNO3, which is an aqueous solution. NaCl is aqueous solution. Just now we did one experiment, AgCl, which is precipitate form, plus we get NaNO3, which is in aqueous solution. Now, if you see this reaction, here in this table, reactants, which is on the left side, number of atoms. Ag on the left side, this is the reactant on the left side. Ag, how many Ag atoms are there? You can see Ag atom is only one there. Okay, Ag atom is only one. So you will write number one. Products on the right side, Ag, how many products are, means in the product side, on the right side, how many Ag is there? Only one. Ag is silver. So here also Ag is only one atom. Next, let's check the nitrogen. Nitrogen is also present in the reactant. In the reactant nitrogen, how many nitrogen are there? Only one. N is only one in the reactant. And in the product, N is again how many? You can see here how many N. It is still again 1, N. Then oxygen. Oxygen, how many oxygens are there here in the reactant? It's showing 3 here, right? So O3, that means there are 3 oxygen in the reactant. And on the right side, oxygen here also there are 3. Okay, it is balanced. Both sides it is same number. Let's check the sodium. Sodium, that is Na. Na is also, it is 1 in the reactant. And in the product, if you see Na, sodium is also 1. Okay, done. No problem with sodium also. Let's check the chlorine. Chlorine, that is Cl on the left side. Okay. Guys, chlorine, C has to be capital letter. Okay, C has to be capital letter. C and L is small letter. So chlorine here in the reactant is 1 again, and in the product also chlorine is 1. So if you see this reaction, everything is balanced. Whatever atoms are there, number of atoms are there in the reactant, the same number of atoms are present in the product. So we don't have to balance anything. So this reaction is a balanced equation. This is balanced equation. We don't have to make any changes. This is balanced equation. Okay, steps in balancing a chemical reaction. If you want to balance some chemical reaction, a chemical equation is balanced step by step. A trial and error method is used for this purpose. Consider the following equation as an example. Here is the equation given, which is written in the writing word form, that is sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid, then sodium sulfate, and then water. It gives this. Step 1. Write the chemical equation from the given word equation. So word equation is given to you, you have to write the chemical equation. Okay, write the symbols. Hydrogen, sodium hydroxide is written as NaOH. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4. Sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus water H2. This is the reaction we have written. Now we have to balance this chemical equation. Just think about what are the elements, or how many number of atoms are present for this reaction. Like earlier we did for this reaction, we made a table and we wrote how many number of atoms are present on the reactant left side and on the right side. Okay, same thing we have to do here also. Here already the table is formed, okay, made. If you see the reactant side, sodium is 1, and on the right side product, sodium is 2. Na2 means it is 2 number of atoms, are there for sodium. Oxygen, if you see on the reactant, this oxygen is 4 and this oxygen is 1. So 4 plus 1, it gives you 5 oxygen. So it is written 5. On the right side, oxygen is 4 and this is 1. So 4 plus 1, it gives 5. So again, this side, right side, oxygen is also balanced. So no need to change this. So this is balanced. Oxygen is balanced. Let's check the hydrogen. On the reactant side, hydrogen, this is hydrogen and this is also hydrogen. So this is 2, this is 1. 2 plus 1 gives you 3 hydrogen. That's why in the front here it is written 3 hydrogen. On the right side, how many hydrogens are there? Let's check. This is the balanced. You can see here there are only 2 hydrogen. Only 2 atoms are there of hydrogen. So this is unbalanced. Let's go to the next one, that is sulfur. Sulfur is only 1 here on the reactant side, and on the product side also you will see only 1 sulfur. So you don't have to balance the sulfur. This is also balanced, this is also balanced. You have to balance the sodium and you have to balance the hydrogen. Okay, so how to balance it? How to balance this? If you see this table, here the number of atoms of sodium is 2. We can make the reactant as 2 by multiplying it with 2, right? And here the hydrogen is 3 and on the right side it is 2. We cannot multiply 3 with any number to make it 2. Neither we can multiply 2 with some number to make it 3. So what we will do? This we will multiply with 2 and this we will multiply with 3. So that the number becomes same on both sides. So now it is same. This is 6. This is also 6. So it is balanced. Here this becomes 2. This is also 2. So sodium is also balanced. How to write this balanced number in the equation? That is my question now. Sodium I'm showing here 2, right? That means I will write that 2 here so that sodium can be seen as 2 here and this is already sodium 2. Oxygen, we don't have to worry about oxygen. Let's check the hydrogen. Hydrogen is saying you multiply that hydrogen with 2 so that you get 6. So this hydrogen is 2. Don't multiply this, but you can multiply this one. Okay, this becomes 3 times 2, 6, right? But you see here, if you do 3 number here, this will become 6 and this one will become 7. Okay, so this doesn't work. That's why it is said trial and error method. So what we have to do here is we can put 3 here. If you put 3 here, 3 times 2, here it is 6, right? Here it is 6, but here it is 3. What we should do in this case? How can we balance the equation? What should we write here now? We have to think of some other number so that we can say that both sides the number is same. If you put 2 number here, 2 times 2, 4 plus 1, 5, that will not work. Now see here what I am showing you. This 2 is also saying that sodium is 2. Okay, this 2 also says that hydrogen is also 2. Okay, and it also says that oxygen is also 2. So this 2 number indicates for all these numbers. Remember that. Okay, now if you see hydrogen, how many hydrogens are there here? Hydrogen, there is 2 and this one 2. So total it will become 4. If I put 3 here, this 3 is only for this, not for sulfur, not for oxygen. Remember that. If there is a number here down, that number will go for only that particular element, not for other element. Okay. Only if there are number 1 here, there is no subscript number here, that means the number will go for all the other elements which are present aside. But if it is in this form, then this 3 will be linked to only this hydrogen, not for any other. So now if you see, now if you calculate, now if you check hydrogen, how many hydrogen are there? Here hydrogen is 2. Okay, here hydrogen is 2 and this will become 3 times 2, 6. Okay, this becomes 6. So this is 6 plus 2, 8. Let's check on the other side. Here you multiplied 3 with hydrogen. Okay, 3 with hydrogen. So 3 times 2 gives you 6. But you don't want 6, you want 8. So what you will do? Here you have to do some trial and error method. So these things are there. We have to think about this trial and error method to try to balance the equation. Okay, so it's not that you will use one step and you will get the answer. You have to do it, use a trial and error method and check when it is going to become same. Okay, so that's the process here. We have to be very careful about this. So let us try to balance this equation. Check whether the equation is balanced or not, that we checked, okay, by comparing the number of atoms of various elements present on the two sides of the equation. Step 2, it is convenient to start balancing equation from compound which contains the maximum number of atoms. So this table is from that only. What we saw here, NaOH, now we see the reactant. Let us see the reactant. Earlier slide I showed you why I put 2 here and sodium is 2 here. So we are doing that stepwise now. Let's do it stepwise. So same reaction I have taken here, and initially the NaOH reactant on the NaOH is 2, and in the product Na2SO4 you added 2 here. Okay, there is already 2 nitrogen there. So this is 2 NaOH you have added. Now this becomes 2 sodium, and on the right side also you will see sodium is in 2. Let's go further. Use your brain. Use your brain to balance this equation. Okay, now if you do like this, let us check our equation again. We will check the equation again to see whether all the number of atoms are same. Let's check sodium on the left, on the right, sodium. Sodium is 2 now. On the left, on the right, sodium is 2. What about oxygen? On both sides, I told you this 2 will go for this also, and this oxygen is 4 here. So this 4 and this 2, it will give you total 6 oxygen. Here in this case, oxygen is 4 and this 2 will go for this. So here also oxygen is 4 plus 2, 6. Let's check. Sodium is done, oxygen is done, hydrogen. Okay, let's check hydrogen. Hydrogen, how many are there? 2. 2 hydrogen plus this 2. So 2 plus 2 gives you 4. 4 hydrogen. On the right side, let's check. This 2 will go for this. That is 2 multiplied to, when the numbers are written like that, we have to multiply the number. 2 times 2 becomes 4. So this hydrogen, this side is 4. So it is balanced. You see here, sodium is also balanced. Oxygen is also balanced now. Hydrogen is also balanced. What is left? Anything else? Sulfur. Sulfur here is only 1, and here also sulfur is only 1. So everything is balanced here. Everything is balanced. So no need to do any, no need to add any additional numbers here. So it is clear now. Okay. So we have to do trial and error method to check how the atoms are balancing on both sides. When you are making one change, try to see other elements also, whether it is giving you the same number or different number. When I put here 2, that means I have checked. After putting 2, this sodium 2 will go for sodium also, oxygen also, and hydrogen also. Okay, that's how we have to check. Okay, so till here we have understood how to write the balance equation. Okay, just here is one question for you to identify. Identify the reactant and product of the equation. Vegetable oil and H2 gas. We always said earlier, I told you that reactants are always on the left side, so this becomes a reactant and this becomes product. Okay. Okay. Here another question. Write down the steps in balancing the equation. Nitrogen plus hydrogen gives you NH3. Okay. We have to write the balancing equation of this. Let us try to write the balancing equation of this. This is nitrogen 2, which is in gaseous form, plus hydrogen is in gaseous form, and you have NH3, which is also in gaseous form. Let us see here. This is nitrogen on the left side and nitrogen on the right side. That is reactant and product. If you see reactant, nitrogen is 2 here, but here it is 1. Okay, then if you see hydrogen, here it is 2 and here it is 3. It is unbalanced. We have to balance it. Okay, so to balance it, what should I do? Here there is nitrogen 2 and here nitrogen is only 1. Can I make this nitrogen 2 by multiplying this with 2? So that what I will do, I am using a different color so that I can show you. So what I will do, I will multiply this 2 nitrogen with 2 so that there is 2 nitrogen here, 2 nitrogen here. Nitrogen is balanced. Okay. Now what about hydrogen? This 2 will also go for hydrogen. That means this 2 will multiply with this 3 and you will see here the hydrogen is 6. So if this side hydrogen is 6, how to make the hydrogen on the left side 6? This is 2. We can multiply this with 3 so that we can make, after multiplying this, hydrogen will become 6. So now you see nitrogen is 2 here, nitrogen is 2 on the right side, hydrogen is in 6 on the left side, hydrogen is on the right side 6. So it is a balanced equation now. So according to balanced equation, I have to put 3 here in front of H2 and 2 here in front of nitrogen. Okay, let's do one more reaction here. Write down a balanced chemical equation for the following reaction. It is given in the word form. We have to write the reaction. Calcium chloride, sulfuric acid, calcium sulfate, hydrogen chloride. You can, when I'm asking you some question, you can always pause the video and try to write it by yourself first, and then you can check the answer. So here calcium chloride, CaCl2, sulfuric acid, H2SO4, calcium sulfate, CaSO4, hydrogen chloride, HCl. Okay, this is the reaction. I don't know whether it is balanced or not. If it is balanced, good and enough. If it is not balanced, if it is unbalanced, then you have to balance it yourself. Okay, so this is like a homework for you to check whether it is in the balanced form or not. If it is unbalanced, then you balance it. Okay, if it is not balanced, then you balance the equation. If it is balanced, no need to change balance the equation. Let it be like that. So this is the end of the class for today's lecture 2. That is, we have understood the chemical equation conventions and we have also understood how to balance the equation. I will provide a worksheet, etc. For you to practice more on this equations. Right now, just go through this, try to balance the equation. If you have understood this well, then you can do the worksheet. Okay. Okay, this is it. This is the end for today. And see you in our next class. Bye, everyone.